Coming up. Stop me. You coming up.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the House of Peach. It is Tuesday, and we are live and in your home, on your job. If you're watching in the car, we are here. So we need you to come in and let us know who's here and where you coming in from. We want you to share this broadcast out. Just share it. If you're on YouTube, you can hit like and share. If you're on Facebook, we want you to hit love and share. And if you can share it on your page, you can send it to individual people. There are, I believe, 4 platforms that I know of that we're live on. I know YouTube. Then we're on Morgan's page, my page, and the House of Peach page. So you have multiple opportunities to share this out and to view. So today has been an interesting day. Actually, no, today's been a great day. I'll say that. It's been a good day. It's been busy as usual for me, but I have one request, and I don't know if we can do it or not. So I'm watching the intro video. And the intro video is great. It's bomb. And then I look at the picture that's of me, the one that I don't like that picture anymore. So I know it might be a bit much to ask, but can we do another one of me? Because I don't like that one. I feel like my hair just looks, yeah, I don't know. I don't like that one. But anyway, that's just my little 2 cents. Hey, Mo.
Hey, you are so funny. Hey, Jeffrey, how you doing?
How are you?
Oh man, oh good. I can't complain too much. Busy week, trying to recoup, get everything together. It's been like spring break for us, homeschool wise. So getting back into the swing of things, with the kids and getting everything situated. So yeah, I was like, it's been an interesting day, but power through tonight. It's one of those times where I gotta kind of burn the midnight oil and get some things done because there's some moves I want to be able to make. So got to do it now.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, you are delayed. Yeah.
I am. Okay, well, let me go out and come back in and see.
No, don't leave me. Yes.
I know, right? I feel like that's exactly. You said, okay, not for me. Okay, so I don't know what's going on.
It's delayed. Last week, I believe, was the only week for me that has not been delayed. I was like, oh, it's on point this week.
Really?
But today is delayed. Yeah. At least for me, it is.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. I was like, let me try to go out and come back in real quick.
All right. Well, you do that. I'll talk to the people till you come back.
Sounds good.
All right, y'all. Listen. If you have not subscribed to the House of Peach, there is the QR code on the screen. I ask you this every single week, and we do get some subscribers, and then sometimes y'all are dragging. So this week, I need you to do that. All right. So we have a lot of great things that we do here at House of Peach. We come to inspire, motivate, push people to the next level. We come to highlight the great things that these women are doing, whether it's in business, whether it's in the community, whatever it may be. The last Tuesday in every single month is our He Said, She Said, where we have a great topic that we want everybody, men and women, to come on and be our guests. It's not just me and Mo. We want everybody because we want to discuss it from the male and female perspective. This is a no judgment zone. Everybody's opinion is their opinion and will be respected. So nobody should be fearful. Like, come on in and share what you have to say about the topic. Even if it goes against what other people say, we're going to agree to disagree because we all grown folks around here and we all have opinions. All right. So we're going to discuss that. So at the end of every month, the last Tuesday in every month is our He Said, She Said. And it's great. We have fun. All right, Mo, let's see. Say something. And you're muted.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I was muted. Okay. Is it better now?
Okay, it's still lagging, but it's gonna have to be what it's gonna be.
Exactly. Look, I'll run with the southern drawl today, just a little slower.
Whoa, wait a
I said
minute.
the southern drawl, just
Wait
a
a
little
minute.
slower than
What?
the.
Wait a minute. I'm from the South, so what does that mean? I
You
have a
don't
South.
have a southern drawl though.
What
You
do
have a
I
you have
have?
a twang.
I have a
You have a
Southern.
southern twang.
So what's
You
the
don't have a
difference?
drawl.
Oh, when you drag the words
It's a
out.
yes, it's a lot longer and a lot slower just as far as cadence is concerned.
Oh no,
Yes, yes,
that's
yes,
not me.
cadence wise.
Yeah, I move too quickly for stuff like that. That will drive me insane. Do you know when people talk to me and they talk slowly and it takes them a long time? I just want to say, spit it out,
Yeah,
please.
yeah,
Say
exactly.
what you need to say. I have things to do because I'm always like this. That's how my brain works. Like it's like blah, 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 all the time. So when you're taking a long time, it's like, oh my God, I could have done 100 things by the time you get to that second sentence. Can you just hurry up,
True,
please?
true, true.
Maybe I just need to work on my patience. Is that what that is? I need to be this.
I
I'm too busy.
mean, yes, in a way, but then there is a point where it's just like,
Okay.
as our dear friends said, our time and our saliva very expensive.
Right. Wasn't that Gigi that said that?
Easy, yeah, exactly. So, gonna need you to speed it up just a little.
Right, just a little bit.
Exactly.
I missed her. We need to have her back on. She was hilarious. All right, so this evening we have another great guest that's coming on. So why don't you introduce our guest? So I'm not seeing any messages, and Ariel has my phone on lock and key outside. So I
Hey,
can't even see
Alan.
if anybody's on my page or not. How rude. But anyway.
I know. I just realized I was like, I technically can only like monitor one. One page. I was like, because this is going on to my other page. If I was savvy enough, I would have it for the other one, but
Yeah.
I'll get there. I'll get there.
We'll get there at some point.
Exactly. But I'm like super excited about this guest. So if you guys don't know, April 11th through April 17th is Black Maternal Health Week. So it is a big week here in the nation. As we've talked about before, around this time last year, it was, how a lot of celebrities, things have happened to them. And so for some reason now it was like, because this happened to a celebrity, because it happened to Beyonce, because it happened to Serena Williams, that now we're drawing more awareness to the disparities when it comes to maternal health, as far as safety, as far as practices, care, and all around, especially when it comes to postpartum too. What does that mean for both the birthing person as well as the infant? So I'm super excited about all the great things that are coming up this week. If you guys are excited, if you got about this topic, if you are interested in learning more, definitely, I think honestly, you could probably just type in or Google Black Maternal Health Week, and you will see all the things that are going on for the week. There's a lot of talks, a lot of people, just giving tons of information, how we can be able to help these disparities, different places that are considered safe places as far as birthing is concerned, just all types of goodness. But when it comes to our guest today, her and I met at a doula training. Actually, my first doula training. She was coming to the table already experienced as far as a doula, but was now, wanting to get things on paper. And that's a great thing that within the community, it is very much to learn things. So there are things that you can go and, sit and get certifications and take classes, but there's nothing like actual birth and hands-on experience that will teach you a lot of things that, might not have been covered. And each training is different too. So I met Dr. Vivian, and I will let her tell you the experience of us meeting. But her and I had the pleasure of serving at a home birth in November. And that was such a beautiful experience, the birth in general. But that was when the two of us really clicked, and we were like, there's something here when it comes to, the energy that we have working together, the respect that we have for each other in the space, and how we kind of moved, about. And so at this point in time, her and I are connected at the hip. But she is an educator. She is a mother. She is a doula. She is an entrepreneur. And so, I just wanted to be able to give her a platform to be able to share her story. She's got a great and interesting story. She comes with an amazing background. But then talk about the awesome things that she is doing now, and where things are headed when it comes to Black maternal health.
Awesome. Yeah, we definitely need that, because if I had known a lot of things, I would have done things differently, but I didn't know. So, but it's too late in the game for April. I'm done. I am so done. And I keep saying that because I am so done. I am. But anyway, I just have to put that disclaimer out there for anybody that's watching that may think that I'm not done. I am done. Okay, I'm done.
Watch the previous episodes and you'll see why I'm laughing so hard.
Right? Yeah, you gotta watch back a couple in order to understand this story.
Oh, hilarious. So yes. So without further ado, we will welcome Dr. Vivian.
Dr. Vivian, hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Hello. Hey, my doula sister.
On. Looking
Good to see
beautiful.
you. Good to see you.
You look like someone I know or some of my family members. We need to check that line.
We probably are related some way.
We are, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and claim you. I'm gonna claim you as family.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah.
So why don't you just get into it? Just tell us a little bit about you. We'll tell us a little or a lot, however much you want to share.
Okay.
And then we'll get into everything else that you're doing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, thank you for having me on this platform. And I guess briefly, I could just say I was born and raised in Philadelphia. I'm currently living in Dover, Delaware, and I'm an educator. I have a bachelor's degree in special education, and then I have a master's in curriculum and instruction and a doctorate in educational leadership. So I am the kind of person that I just love to learn. I just love exploring and reading. And I know a lot of people don't like research, but I'm the kind of person that's just like, my mind is just, that's just how I'm wired. So I retired from my job as an educational diagnostician when the country shut down with all the COVID stuff. And I said, what do I want to do? Was at a phase of my life when, when you get a certain age, but you ladies aren't there yet, but when you get a certain age, sometimes you just want to do what you want to do. So I had always been interested in birth work, and I decided to go online and looked up things about a doula and took some classes for certification. And then it was just kind of word of mouth. My daughters had friends that were pregnant, and they trusted me to support them in their birthing space. And that is one of the things I will say, that's one of the most interesting and rewarding part of doula work, is that people trust me in their sacred spaces. And I really do love that. So when people say to me, like, what do you do? Why are you doing this doula work? I tell them I get to witness miracles. And it's just a beautiful, every time I support someone, I actually shed a tear. And the family.
I thought I was the only one that did that.
I mean, I'm not bawling uncontrollably, but it's something that's so spiritual and sacred about being in this space where a woman is the most vulnerable that she'll ever be. And for someone to allow me to be in that space and to hold their hand and to encourage them and, rub their backs and just help them to feel empowered. It's just a blessing to me. So I love the work that I do. I tell people I get to do this. I get to witness miracles, and it's just wonderful. I love it. So when I met Morgan in the doula, I knew that I can't be everybody's doula, and there's so much work to do. I can't do it all. So I connected with some doulas in the area, and that's where I met Mo. and we talked. The day I met her, I was looking at her. I was kind of like something about this girl right here. And then it just happened in November. There was a young lady that needed support with her birth, and Mo, we kind of just showed up at the same time. Well, Mo got there before me, but we had never worked together. And if you had watched us on that day, you would it was just such a well-oiled machine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everything in terms of the spirit, her spirit and my spirit, we were just sisters, and it was just excellent. And that's when I said, okay, we're going to do some stuff together.
Yeah.
And it's been wonderful, getting to know her and continuing with doula work. A lot of times she'll be my backup, I'm her backup. She, we work it like that, and it's just been wonderful. So
Yeah, Mo has that spirit about her
she
that
does.
she
She really
just
does.
vibes and connects with people of like spirits. So
Mhm.
that's how it was for she and I, because we've never met in person. Like, this is the only time I've ever. She's met
Yeah.
my oldest daughter in
Oh,
person,
wow.
and we have not. I'm still salty about that, and I'm still going to say something about it. But I want, I want. So the position or the career that you had, explain that, because I don't know what that is. A curriculum. What did you call it?
I retired as an educational diagnostician, and that's basically the person in the school building who deals with all the special education files and make sure that the federal documents are in compliance, and making sure
Mm.
parents understand what their rights are in terms of special education for their children.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's a lot, and I just felt like enough was enough, and I wanted to branch off and do some other things.
Yeah, you
So
branched. You still are in the education side of
exactly,
it, more, but
exactly.
more, I feel more exciting
Mhm.
education side
Yeah.
of it.
And I'm
Yeah.
a hands-on person. So
Yeah.
I love educating people. Even when I meet people and I say I'm a doula, some people are still saying, what's a doula? Or they mix it up with, being a midwife. And it's
Mhm.
wonderful to be able to educate people. And also when I'm working with my, I call them my mamas, there's so much that a lot of us don't know about our bodies, and to
Mhm.
have the opportunity to get women to really trust their body when they are in labor is something that's really that's rewarding for me too, because we've come so far from who we are. And I'm not against hospitals, please don't get me wrong, but in terms of being connected to our soul voice, a lot of
Mm.
things that we do on a regular basis, we're not listening. And when you're with child, there's so much of that in terms of your just the whole pregnancy and then the labor and delivery. For example, the young lady that we supported in November, it was her seventh child, and she
Ooh.
basically she wanted us to just support her. She wanted to deliver her own baby. She was so clear about what she wanted to do, and her relationship with her body. She knew her body completely. And one of the things that really stood out to me in that particular birth was that at some point during her labor, it's almost like she just completely went into herself, and she was ministering to herself while
Wow.
she was laboring. And that is powerful. And
Wow.
that's what I try to encourage people to do. But you have to know yourself in order to be able to do that. And it was amazing. And it was so beautiful.
That's when the tears started shedding for me. Like, and then
Mhm.
it didn't stop. I was like silent crying, like as I'm trying to like
It was beautiful. It
rub
was
backs
beautiful.
and woo woo woo. I'm over here like trying to
Yeah.
wipe my face, because it really is like she said, I feel like that's the exciting part of the education, especially when you get to see how you've taught advocacy. Because just as Dr. Viv was saying, with doula work, people are like, well, what exactly is that? They also think that we walk into a birth space and we tell people what is expected for this birth. That's not our responsibility.
Right.
We're technically kind of just in the corner somewhere if you need me, if we've equipped you, you know, correctly for what you need to do. And then, as you were saying, trusting your body to just do, exactly what it's supposed to do. So once you get to see that, that's like that, the fruits of your labor to come
Mhm.
back like very quickly.
Mhm.
And ends up making for an even more rewarding experience, because then it tends to be a whole lot less painful and, with very minimal to no other events other than, you know, just a beautiful birth.
Right.
So, you
I
know,
feel very slighted that I didn't know anything about a doula when I had my first. And I wish I had, because I believe, not that the experience was bad, but my first child, I didn't know what I was doing. All I know is, though, every time they came in and cranked up that Pitocin, I was like, oh my God, what is going on? So then by the time it's ready, that I'm fully dilated and ready to push, I'm just like not even in my right mind, because I've been focused on these contractions are about to take me out of here. And so
yeah,
I would have enjoyed having more education to go like that mom did, and go within myself and be able to, because when we think about it, we have everything that we need for ourselves in ourselves,
We
and
do.
we just have not tapped into it or had the proper education to know it's already in you. And that could be for anything, for birthing
yeah,
babies, for businesses, for
Everything.
anything,
Everything.
we have it in us, but we just haven't met up with the right educator to show us how to do it. And that's when the light bulb comes on. So
yeah,
I believe this maternal education is vital for us in the future, because what I see in healthcare, and this is not against, healthcare, we need doctors and all of that,
Yeah.
but I see people relying more on the physicians and what they say instead of trusting what we know
But
about
we know. Absolutely. And
our.
that's another reason why I became a doula also, because when I was having my children, I was married at the time, but I didn't feel support from my partner at all. And so
Mhm.
I say that I do for people what I wish someone had done for me.
Mhm.
And that's what, it makes it easy for me. But still, I had no idea that I was going to have a cesarean. I had two cesareans, because the doctors at that time were saying that my pelvis was inadequate, which I still don't know
Mm.
what that means, to have an inadequate
Mhm.
pelvis. And you should not be telling people that their pelvis is inadequate. But I wanted to have a vaginal delivery so bad. And so when I was pregnant with my third child, they said, absolutely not. You can't deliver vaginally. We have to do the cesarean. And I fought against that. And they told me that I had to come in to be induced. And anyway, my water broke before that. And I had my third child vaginally. And they said they were like, we don't see this. We've never witnessed this before. But when you're telling women that you have to have a cesarean every time because you had one the first time, I don't believe I should have had the first cesarean, to be honest.
Mm.
But
Mhm.
you have to advocate for yourself. And a lot of people
Mhm.
don't feel confident enough.
Mhm.
When you're in a situation like, childbirth, people are so afraid. And that's another thing
Yeah.
I try to teach mothers to not be afraid. Like, we are
Mhm.
so afraid of the natural. And
Mhm. Yeah. And
absolutely.
that's what we were created to do. We
yeah.
were created to bring new life into the world. So
Mhm.
for the physician to say that your pelvis is inadequate is saying that the creator didn't make you right to
Exactly.
do what he created you to do. Like,
Exactly.
how is that not possible when our bodies specifically do things for us to deliver babies? So what are you saying? I missed that part in the
Mhm.
assembly line. Like, what?
Exactly.
What is?
Exactly. And let's be honest, just because of the way that the body works, if her pelvis was inadequate, it would not sustain a pregnancy long enough to get to that
Exactly.
place,
Yeah.
because the body it doesn't do that. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like even the placenta, even in and of itself, is like such an amazing organ where there's such a give and take between the birthing person and and the baby at the time, where God forbid there was an accident or something that actually happened, to them, the placenta automatically starts trying to heal whatever place
Mhm.
that it is, sending stem cells to there.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, we're always thinking about how much the baby takes from us. It's taking iron, it's taking calcium, it's taking fat, it's taking water, it's taking everything else. So although there is a take, there also very much is a give,
Yeah.
that's back and
Mhm.
forth, which just makes the exchange even more, beautiful
Yes.
Yeah.
in and
Yeah.
of itself. So
And even educating people. I always tell people that Mo is a placenta guru. She loves placentas, but
I
we need
do.
to also educate the moms about what the purpose of the placenta is, and also just to make them aware that, when the baby is delivered and the placenta is delivered, here we are coming real quick to cut the cord, and that doesn't necessarily have to happen like that.
Really?
It's important to keep the placenta intact, because if you ever saw the umbilical cord, it looks almost like a old-fashioned telephone cord.
Yes.
It's pretty much see-through, and it's
Right.
actually pulsating
Yes,
as
I've
it comes.
seen
It's
that.
a
It's
living
so
organ,
cool.
and it's also still providing iron to the baby. So we're doing that clip too soon, but a lot of women don't know about that. But I think more women, the more you know about your body, the better decisions you're going to make.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Hello, Abundance. I see you on there. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so let's talk about that part. Because the placenta is an amazing organ,
It
and
is.
I have, out of all the C-sections that I've done, just seeing you, it's so distinct.
It is.
And to see the umbilical, and I don't want to get too deep into medical, but the artery and the vein in there, and just watching it, and it's like, whoa. So how long should they still leave the umbilical cord attached to the baby before they do cut it? What is the optimal amount of time? And is this before or after it releases from the uterus?
You want to take that, Mo?
I typically advise, if there is a least amount of time, I say 5 minutes.
Okay.
The longer the better.
Mhm.
If the intent is to encapsulate it, I do, or do something where you want to ingest it. I'll put it that way. I say like an hour and a half is probably your max before it needs to be put on ice. Or I will, if I know that the parents want to do something else, I might just sit it on ice,
So
underneath it. But yeah, that's pretty much what it is. The placenta naturally delivers itself anywhere
right.
between 2 to 30 minutes. There are some cases that run a little bit longer. 2 hours is a problem. But if it ends up being an hour and a half, that still ends up being within quote unquote a normal range.
Right.
But yeah, I was like, most of my clients choose to wait until after the placenta has at least delivered itself.
Okay.
And that's without coaxing. Don't
Wow.
let people pull
So
your placenta out.
you can still leave the umbilical cord attached even after it has delivered from the uterus, and that's still okay?
Yes. It's
Yes,
preferred.
absolutely. Lotus burst.
There's
I
something
never
called a
knew
lotus
that.
birth. Yeah, they don't teach us that, and a lot of places discourage you from the lotus birth because of possible infections. But
Mhm.
you just have to keep yourself clean and the baby clean, and just you can leave the placenta attached until it falls off naturally, until the cord falls off naturally, and that
Exactly.
happens like 5 to 7 days.
And the one that we witnessed actually was in 72 hours of the birth,
Mhm.
Wow.
which
So,
was
but you
faster
still,
than any stump has ever dried up I've ever seen. I'm sorry.
Mhm. Mhm.
oh, wow. This is very interesting. We have not been educated at
That's true.
Yeah,
all.
absolutely, absolutely. So I was like, that's why I absolutely love Dr. Viv. I like the fact that she comes from an educational standpoint, because
Mhm.
that is one of the number one things that doulas do besides teaching advocacy. It is educating, and it's educating you on your body. Dr. Viv just talks about the body in general. You know what I mean? How do we actually feel sexually? How do we control that in and of ourselves? Like, how do we own ourselves back in knowing what's exactly going on, so that we can say, no, that's not what it is. Or we can be in tune and say, no, my right ovary is ovulating versus my left one. Because if you
Mhm.
really pay attention,
To
you
your
will know which one is releasing what when. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I was like, those kind of things. I think it's fun, it's exciting, and now we also want to reach out to even the younger community, because I think when it comes to Black maternal health as well, when we talk about being rushed and not feeling like we're properly seen
Mhm.
by OBs, I know here in the state of Delaware there's a shortage. So there are a lot of birthing people who aren't seeing someone until their second, like for the first time, until their second trimester
Wow.
already. There are people who, have quote unquote peed on a stick, but they don't get to see anyone until, 15, 18 weeks. And so to even have any kind of confirmation of pregnancy. So when we come into play, a lot of the time we're even having conversations of easing that, like not that we're saying that going to these prenatal visits aren't important, but at the same time, like it's okay because 75 to almost 80% of births are considered low risk. The ones that aren't, the ones that we know that there are pre-existing conditions, there are some, things that are underlining, those are the ones that would need to be passed more to the forefront to make sure that that ends up being, a successful, pregnancy as well as a delivery. While as the rest of us, like you'll be okay if you don't get an ultrasound your entire pregnancy. I know that sounds crazy. I know you so desperately want to see this baby. I know, oh, everyone wants to know what the sex is, but guess what? You will be okay if you don't get one of those. But you do need to make sure that your iron levels are okay. You do need to make sure that, what you're eating is not causing gestational diabetes or possible preeclampsia. But then let's also talk about stress.
Right.
And how, especially for us Black women, we take in stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what I love about Dr. Viv, because I was like, we handle so many areas of things. And that was a conversation we were talking about the other day, where it's not just, you don't just talk about birth. Like we get into people's nitty gritty, like the lives, what's going on with your partner, what's going on with your mom, what's going on with your grandma, your living situation, all of these kind of conversations. And there needs to be that more in our positions as well, because then it makes it a little easier for us to be able to do our jobs, because certain things have been set into place with a physician that you trust. These are people that, you're talking to all the time. This is someone who's looked at you and said, hey, it looks like since the last time you've been here, you've gained weight here, but you also are experiencing a whole lot of stress in here. Let's talk about these cortisol levels, not let's talk about bariatric surgery or let's put you on some kind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let's ask some questions.
Yeah. So one thing that Dr. Viv, you were saying earlier, you were talking about we need to know our bodies. And so going back to those moms who don't get in to see an OB, until the second mid trimester, is this a thing where if we just listen to our body and monitor what we eat, I think you touched on a little bit, Mo, that we can ensure that we have ourselves are healthy and then our babies are healthy as well. It's not always about, oh God, need to get to the doctor, but we know just eat what you need to eat to sustain you, the good vegetables and everything is that what you would.
And I encourage people to do that even if you're not pregnant. That's just develop some healthy eating habits, develop a taste for water. When I ask women sometimes, do you drink water? Oh, I hate water. First, you need to drink some water. Your body needs to be hydrated, properly hydrated. So just to develop healthy eating habits for your life is something that we need to be looking at as far as women we need to take care of our bodies. They are saying things about Black women having fibroid tumors at higher levels than any other person or woman on the planet. So we need to watch our diets, and a lot of it can be prevented with proper diet and nutrition.
I was in Ohio this weekend, and you were talking about the water, and I drink a lot of water every day. And so Friday, I flew in and I had not had water because I try not to drink much when I'm flying because I don't like using the airplane bathrooms. But by that evening, I felt just all off. And I went downstairs. I didn't care how much the bottles of water were. I need 4. And I just drank like 2 of them back to back. And I started to feel better. So, that is so important. Like we can go without a lot of things, but we need that water. And that's important. So do you educate not only for maternal things, birthing, do you educate in other areas for as well outside of schooling and things? What else?
Yeah, I often say that I think some of the clients that I have look to me because they realize I'm mature, and they say, I wanted a doula that was, kind of like my mom. They want the mom experience. Some of them,
Mhm.
maybe they don't have a mom anymore, or they say they don't have a good relationship with their mother. So
Right.
they come to me, and they trust me. So I feel like I'm a mentor to young women. Some
Mhm.
of the young women that my daughters are friends with, but anybody that I meet, people seem to come to me, and they trust me with some personal issues, and I feel like it's important that as an older woman that I mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you end up touching them in multiple areas of their lives, and not
Mhm.
just during their pregnancy time, but what to do afterwards and how to
Exactly.
manage the home afterwards, and including the partner. So is there anything what do you do with the partners that are involved with that house?
I try to make sure that they don't feel slighted.
Okay.
A lot of times I want to make sure I meet their partner before we go into the labor and delivery phase, because
Mhm.
at that time I'm busy doing my spirit work, and I don't want to step on any toes or anything. So
Mhm.
sometimes when I meet the partners, they're very welcoming. Sometimes they kind of look curious, like, who is this person? But once we get to the phase of labor and delivery, it's beautiful. Sometimes when I do something, like if I'm massaging someone's back or their legs or feet or whatever, and the partner's looking at me, I do it for a while, then I say, okay, I want you to tag me out, and nobody ever refuses. Everybody, sometimes the partner just wants to know what to do.
Yeah.
And then, I just kind of lead them into it and show them
Mhm.
different things. I may have a fan and get them the fan, or if they need water, or if they need to walk or rock. I have something I call the doula dance. If they need to get up and move their hips, then I
Uh-huh.
can get it started, and then the partner gets to do it. So it's all inclusive. And I never want the partner to feel like I'm stepping on their toes or excluding
Mhm.
them. So I just
Yeah.
include in everything, just include them.
I just believe with this that there will be more babies born into calming, peaceful environments, and that'll set the tone for them. And
Mhm.
if they get doula care throughout their pregnancy, then it already just starts that ball rolling with the ministerial part of it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So then I think we would see a difference. And this is just me. I believe they would see a difference in how babies are.
Yeah.
What they won't have the health conditions that they may have had, because
Mhm.
now we've created this environment and atmosphere that everything in them while they're growing, it's working like it should. There's
Mhm.
nothing out of whack, because if we really think about it, we're the ones that's carrying them, and maybe what they deal with and what they are born with is a reflection, a result of us. So
Mhm.
if the doulas that, like the
Connected.
both of you that come in with the education and the calmness and really ministering in not only just that one area but multiple, these babies are gonna come out like little geniuses. Like, who are this stream of babies coming out with all, they're just like super babies. And I see that.
Yeah.
That's a possibility, but it comes with education, and people should not fear that. I know my daughter, my oldest daughter, and if she's watching, hey Kayla, she's due in a couple of weeks,
Mhm.
and she has not had such pleasant experience with her OB. And
Mhm.
Morgan is her doula and said, listen, you can look for another one. So then she's calling me and she's crying and she's upset because she heard her and blah. I'm like, but what did Mo say? Well, she said I could find another one. Well, get
You
another one.
can. Yeah.
Do
You
that. You
can.
don't have to stay with that one, and don't think, oh my, well, let me try it again. Well, that's your choice if you decide to do it. But
Right, right.
hey, one time for me, and that's it.
Yeah.
If
And
you try,
I'm glad Mo said that, because a lot of times when I'm speaking to my clients and I tell them, I mean, I'm not allowed to tell them what to do in their, with their body, but just to kind of pique their interest in, are you comfortable with this, or do you want to do that? And they sometimes look at me like they didn't even realize that they had the choice. For
wow,
example, I was with a mother in the hospital, and she was ready to deliver. I think she might have been 9 or 10 centimeters. And then the doctor came in and they put her on her back, and she just looked like she was in distress. So I looked at her, I said, "Are you comfortable in this position?" She said, "No." And then I said, "What do you want to do?" And she said, "I want to get on my hands and knees." So I helped her get up, and she got on her hands and knees. And then the doctor looked at me and she said, "Is she planning to deliver like this?" And so I said to my client, "Would you like to deliver this way?" And she said, "Yes." And then I looked at the doctor, and she looked at me, and I was like, "This is what she wants to do." So
Yeah.
she delivered the baby backwards, like her buttocks was facing us, and she was kind of rocking on her knees, but that's what she wanted to do, and that's how she delivered her baby. But
Yeah.
she had to be able to say that, yes, I want to do it like this. A lot of women don't know that they have the right to say, this is what's most comfortable for me. I want to do it like this. They flip women on their backs. We're working against gravity. Everybody doesn't want to deliver like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah,
important.
your body tends to tell you like what it wants to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my first son, I delivered on my back, and I had severe back labor. So my second one was like that as well. And I was like I said, I was in the hospital for the first one. So I chose a birth center for my second birth for the simple fact that I wanted a lot less hands-on. I really wanted folks to leave me alone. I didn't want people in my space. I didn't want them poking and prodding me. I didn't want anybody really running a clock. And I wanted to just be able to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. And this was still without knowing what I know now. And I didn't have a doula either. I just knew that those were things that I wanted. And so I ended up having my last son on all fours because that was the most comfortable position specifically for my back. Plus, it also opens up the pelvis in a very nice way. So it kind of eases labor a little bit more. But once again, these are the kind of conversations, I unfortunately had, I had met a client a few weeks before she delivered, and everything happened really quickly as far as her going into labor. And so, she was rushed to the hospital, and she ended up calling me right afterwards. And unfortunately, there was a problem delivering where the shoulder was stuck in the pelvis, called shoulder dystocia. And so instead of them changing position for her, they continued to make her push on her back.
Oh,
so
wow.
she barely could walk for almost 3 weeks.
That's horrible.
And I'm like, why didn't it occur? Like, I might not have been there, but you had 4 other people in the room, and it didn't occur to 4 people to get her on hands and knees, which just anatomically makes sense as far as how it opens up the pelvic floor. So that's why doulas are necessary. This is why midwives are necessary. This is why birth centers are necessary. Not to take anything away from a hospital, because sometimes they are necessary. C-sections are necessary. Emergencies happen. Things happen. But when it comes to just birth naturally, to be able to experience that in a safe space where someone is going to use, sometimes, as we like to say, common sense, real life evidence-based research, as well as, what we know medically, to be able to get to, the same common goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, Dr. Viv, if you could talk to us a little bit about birth centers and hospitals and exactly what the experience is like as far as a doula in both spaces, and just in general, what are your thoughts on birth centers?
When I first started, and it was 2021 when I first started, and I would go to a hospital, I did not feel welcome at all. Some hospitals don't want doulas in the room for whatever reason. And I've already committed myself to, I'm not going to argue or cause a scene for anyone when I'm trying to support a mother, because it's not going to help the mom at all. But there were times that I was turned away from a hospital, and I would sometimes the family would have me on the phone as the mother was laboring. But it's really interesting how some hospital staffs view doulas. I've also been at the birthing center up in Newcastle. Is that Newcastle, Mo?
Newark, Newcastle County,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. And that experience was wonderful. There was a midwife there, and the mom was able to move around a lot while she was laboring. And I always tell mothers too, the key to a happy or less stressful labor and delivery is movement. So when you get to the hospital, they put you in a hospital bed, they put an IV in your arm, and you're restricted with your movements. And that's why I personally prefer a birthing center or a home birth, because you get to move around. You get to listen to what your body is saying, is telling you to do. And if your body is telling you that to squat, like a yogi squat, or to get on your hands and knees, or to walk around the neighborhood, whatever, you get to do that if you're at home or in a birthing center. And that's why I just prefer to do it that way. I'll help people in the hospital, because you really do need an advocate when you're in the hospital, because sometimes they just come in the room, they just do things to you without asking you if it's okay to do it. So I'm there to make sure that the mothers are comfortable.
Absolutely.
And we are thinking of a birthing center for Dover, Delaware, because there is no birthing center in Dover, Delaware.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so Mo and I are working to find a property so that we can start supporting women who would like to do natural births, or at least very little medication if they choose to do that. But that's what the goal is, and we're hoping that it's going to happen. And I feel like we need some financiers, and we got great ideas already, and we have plenty of clients who would use the space.
No, you didn't tell me that. You've been holding out on me. All this good news here. Come on now. You don't leave me out the loop.
Listen. You know, when you're piecing things together and you try to put things together, you be over here sitting and praying in the prayer closet. That's where I am with this right now. Like, the two of us are on our knees.
I'm in a prayer closet.
But look, I know. But listen, you like to surprise me with stuff. Can I surprise you with stuff every now and then?
Okay, all right. Well,
I feel like I was forced to have a C-section. Abundance. Look, we can't say that that's what happened, but we would. There's a very good chance that your C-section was unnecessary. Yeah. And again, as you know, Dr. Vivian was saying, like it is about trusting yourself and your body. But sometimes we have been conditioned to listen to physicians, to listen to hospitals, that what they're saying is the end all be all. But we forget that, like, when we show up there, what's the first thing they do? Ask us 50 million questions, which means that they can't even do their job until they ask us to assess ourselves initially. Yeah. So if we've got to start with this self-assessment first, and knowing exactly what's going on, and then be able to go from there and really, really trust your gut. I think like this is the year where a lot of us are getting more into that gut work and understanding what that really means when your body is like, no. You know what I mean? And when your body says no, then go with it.
Yeah. Your body will never lie to you.
Exactly. Right. Your body doesn't lie to you. And trust me, before something goes wrong, you will have so many inklings for you to be able to move before things really just go, haywire. So I was like, trusting yourself and that ability to advocate for yourself. But yes, I'm super excited about this birth center. I think that it's something that is necessary, especially as Dr. Big was saying, down in the further downstate. There is a huge population of natural birthers. The birth center is quite a ways away from this area. And so then that kind of keeps certain people from having the birth center as an option for their births. And the hospitals, like I said, they get their reps, although the hospitals in the area are equipped and ready. They also are seeing how they are short-staffed, or how certain things, how this does in some way still eventually affect the maternal population. So we feel like hopefully that this birth center will take a little load off of the hospital a bit, it will allow those that are, in the downstate, in the southern part of the state, to be able to experience a comfortable, more calming and, positive birthing experience. Education classes will be a part of that. Very community oriented. So I'm super excited. This is, I was like, Dr. Viv, she came to this and she was like, listen, this is what I want to do. And I was like, holy smoly, this is what I want to do as well. So this is like our baby together. So at this point in time, like, we're still carrying, and I can't wait till we get to this, like the actual labor and delivery phase.
How exciting. All right. Y'all get it started there, and the word spreads. The next thing you know, you'll have this state and this state. And can you open one here and you come there and y'all traveling the world, and I'll come. I just want to join.
Well, we were just talking about traveling too. So listen, that's in alignment already. So
yeah, absolutely. So Dr. Viv, I have a question. Why do you believe that hospitals are not as welcoming to doulas? Is it a money thing? Is it a control thing? What do you think is the reason why? Because they are supposed to create the environment or allow the mom, the parents, to be able to have what they desire within reason, of course. But this is like going against what they may desire. So why do you think that is?
My personal experience is that I think the philosophies don't match up. In the medical profession, they believe certain things about the body, and then from people that are coming from the natural or more holistic side of things, and it doesn't always mesh. And the way I do my practice, it is more grounded with the natural, like natural remedies and natural, like massage oils and the different senses, So sometimes when I'm in the hospital, I just feel like the nurses are not, they just don't appreciate, or they don't have the same philosophy. Another example I had recently in the hospital, and the baby was crowning, and they were saying, when you feel the next contraction, I want you to push. And to be honest, your body does the work. You don't even have to push. When the baby's ready, your body will release the baby. But I didn't say anything. And then they looked at the father and they said, we're going to use the suction cups to get the baby out. And I didn't even know they were still using those suction cups. But I looked over, and it was the midwife who said that. And I looked at the father. I said, do you want your baby delivered with the suction? And he looked at me. He said, no, I don't. I said, you have to tell them that. But they were just doing, like, I don't believe in the suction method. That is just so barbaric to me.
Yeah,
But
that
again,
is.
like I said, as a role of a doula, I can't say don't do that. But for them to have that as an option for the final release of the baby is, to me, it's horrible. So my philosophy doesn't always line up with what their philosophy is, although we have the same goal to, deliver a healthy baby. But sometimes there's a clash. And I think there are some places I've been where the nurse will come in and say, oh, you have a doula? Oh, good. You're going to make my job real easy. So they can kind of hang back, and they're welcoming to that, because it is a lot when you're in the hospital with someone. For example, if they had an induction, it is such, I've been in the hospital for people for 2 and 3 days, and the mother was not allowed to eat. And it is really a rough time. So it's hard work. It's hard work, and you just have to be dedicated to it. But I don't believe everything that they believe, and then that's where there's a kind of.
My oldest daughter, they had, of course, young and first baby, didn't know what I was doing, and so they did use that suction cup, the plastic suction cup on her head, and I wish I had known then. But you're 100%, I agree with you about the body will deliver the baby on its own, because when I got ready to have my son, I told my midwife, I said, listen, I never labor long, so do not leave this hospital. And she was in the parking lot with one leg in the car, and they called her like, you got to get back up here. But I literally had to cross my legs because he was about to come out, and I wasn't even pushing. I wasn't. So it was like as soon as they got me up, boop, there he was. And I didn't do anything.
Mhm.
So yeah, we don't all that work that we do, and then
The body knows.
wear ourselves out.
Mhm.
And then you get to that point, women get to the point to where they just can't push anymore. Then the next thing you know, they're wheeling you in the OR to give you a C-section when they just need to allow you time.
Yeah,
to
Well,
let-
that's why we teach that you don't push. We don't do command pushing.
Mm,
You push when you're ready to push, when your
okay.
body literally tells you to push. Like
Mhm.
I have literally, it was crazy. So I always like to tell the story of my oldest son delivering himself because he did. That's literally what he did. My mom looked, I was like, I'm feeling a lot of pressure. And the lady's like, oh, that's what you're going to feel. And I was like, no, like I've been almost at this for 2 days. I'm telling you, like, this is different. And so she's like, okay, I'll go get the doctor. So my mom walks over and kind of like lifts the sheet up and she goes, oh my gosh, whatever you do, don't push. And I was like, why? She's like, I could see like the top of his head. And I'm like, really? Okay. By the time the doctor got second glove on and was ready to catch, my son was literally on the table.
Mhm.
One of my favorite births of last year, and this was the first time I had ever experienced that, they had told the mom, they told the mom that she was going to have a C-section. And the look that she had on her face was like, there's only like 3 other people in this room. And I know you're not talking to any of us. So who are you talking about? We had this look that was, like if you give me this look, I got you kind of thing. So I looked at the doctor and I was like, do you mind if you give us a second? And she goes, oh, absolutely. No problem. She walks out the door. I looked at my client. I was like, what do you want to do? And she goes, I'm not ready to give up yet. Like, she's like, this is not it. This happened with my last child. And so like, I'm telling you, I'm not ready. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, we can definitely wait. Her husband had gone downstairs for a minute. He had come up right back upstairs at the perfect time. I told him what was going on. He walks over to her. She busts out crying. And when I say like the best, like just boo-hoo, like, everything's just shaking kind of cry. And then she like was like, okay, I feel like I need to push. And I was like literally it went from tears to I need to push it. I was like, do what you're doing, girl. And I tell you, she pushed and we went from like nothing to all of a sudden now an opening when she pushed. We were like, oh my gosh. Let's go call the doctor. We called the doctor back in. She pushed again. Then all of a sudden, when she wasn't pushing, we saw the baby's head rocking. So the baby was literally moving her head herself.
Oh, wow.
When I say I have never seen anything like this before in my life.
Wow.
I was like, wow. So yeah, this, when it comes to education, it's necessary. Who wants to be tired out? That's why we don't push when somebody tells you to push.
Yeah.
You push when you're ready to push.
Yeah, our bodies are amazing,
They
and the
are.
babies work in sync with our bodies. So we just, that makes me not want to be a doula, but like I just want to sit in on classes and learn more just for my own knowledge because this is some cool stuff. Like I wish I had.
And and I'm glad you said that because it's interesting to me when I am working with the client and the mother of the birthing woman is in the room. And she just looks at me and she says, I'm so glad you're here because I don't know what I had a baby so long ago. I don't know what I'm doing. So it's amazing that there's so many women that are, I don't know, because the birthing stories are so interesting too. But some people are like, I didn't know what was going on. And so they want the doula there because they're like, I can't do this. But
absolutely. I think we hold a space that allows family to be able to be family. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you need, your husband or your wife to just be who they are, like that allows that space, but still knowing that someone has your back, that there is still someone that is in the space that's aware of what's going on, and y'all can kind of just, do your thing. Because it's a very intimate moment.
It is.
In of itself. So.
Well, I was going to ask you what was next for you, but I already know. So we already have that. Yeah. So now this birthing center, I know there's so much legal stuff and governmental stuff and things. how long do you think that the process would take before you could be up and running after you find a location?
That's a great question. I have no idea because whenever I do get with Mo, we have so many amazing ideas, and it has to do with the education piece and the
Mhm.
way the birthing suites are going to be set up. And I don't really know how long it would take. What do you think, Mo, to get it? Like
Look,
once we have the
I'm
money
putting
and
it
the
out.
location.
We had said that this was going to be up and running within the year. So we're
Okay,
saying
so
we
that's
have
what it's
said
going to
three to
be.
2 more
six.
months.
Yeah, three. I was like 3 to 6 months is what we're putting in as far as, building money, the whole 9 yards. I would love to see this like fully opened, if not by December of this year, January of next year. And I think that we can honestly do it. Like she said, we have so many ideas that I feel like this is something that's going to just continuously grow.
It
But
is.
right now we know that there is like a bare bottom need for a space, for all birthing people, but specifically for those of biopic birthing people in this space. And so we want, I feel like, it's necessary. I'm on like a couple of different platforms on Facebook, and the conversation is constantly like, we don't have a birthing center down here. So, it's nice for me to be like, well, don't worry, one's coming. Like, you know what I
Just
mean?
hold
So
on, it's in the works.
it's in
It's in the
exactly. So
works.
it's in the works. I'm over the moon. I feel like this is a huge part of God's work. This is something that, like I said, is necessary. It's going to bless a lot of people. And I see this again as a way to take a lot of the stress off of the hospital so that the hospital can actually do what it is intended to do. You know what I mean? And if we can, in our efforts to educate from the beginning, get certain points across, I feel like it'll be a little easier than for the birth center to be one of the first things that's considered, especially in a low risk pregnancy before, say, a hospital.
And I'm excited to see how this whole thing manifests because we've been talking about it for a while, and I just know it. I just know it in my spirit that it's going to happen, and it's going to bless a lot of people.
Oh yeah, it's
It's a
going.
faith project, for real.
Yeah. Hey, that's all he needs is faith, right?
Exactly,
That's all
exactly.
we need. Let it. Hey, I'm putting it in your hands. You do this because we in our power can't, but you can in your infinite power can. So, do you have to have contracts with physicians or nurses, or how do you do if medication is needed while you're in the birthing center? Is there you have to have specially trained or licensed personnel that will be able to give that, or are you guys licensed to do
Well, a doula is not able to administer any type of medicine. We're non medical birth workers. So we're going to be in touch with plenty of midwives because that's who are going to be the people that are going to be working in tandem with us with the birthing
Okay.
center. And I don't know how many we're going to need, but Mo knows everybody. Knows everybody in Delaware. So
I do. Yeah. I was like, the midwives are typically ones there are certain medications that they are allowed to be able to administer. We have had multiple conversations about, to what extent do we want to offer, certain comfort measures, to what extent do we want this birth center to be able to, do certain things, because certain birth center, like the birth center that we have here, for instance, does not do twin births and they don't do breech births, but we will.
we're going to do it all.
How do you do the okay?
There's a doctor in Hockessin. I will at least say I believe it's a set of doctors that are in Hockessin. They're the only ones in the state that do breech births vaginally and that do twin breech births vaginally. Everyone else is automatically sent to the hospital and recommended for a C-section, even if they could have one vaginally.
And even just because you're having twins, you should not be forced to have a C-section
Right.
Right.
because they're ill-equipped to service you. So we're going to be
Mhm.
doing twins, maybe.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, I will tell you in the hospital, if you come in and you have twins, they automatically bring you to the OR.
Mm-hmm.
Deliver them in the OR
Mm-hmm.
because what happens is if you deliver one and the other one is breached, they will automatically cut you every single time they bring you into the OR for a twin delivery. And I'm like, why are we just standing here for this lady to push these two babies out? I'm just standing here. So I actually was in on one some years ago, and this lady came in with twins, and it was the most horrific experience I had, to the point to where the medical director of that facility had to call me and said, April, I heard that you were in on this case. Can you give me your account? And I started off by saying, let me just let you know that I'm traumatized from this, and I've been doing this a long time, and I'm straight traumatized by what happened. And it didn't have to happen that way. It did not. And the way that things were done, she delivered the first twin fine, but the second one was breached. The doctor couldn't get the second twin turned and just immediately went to cut. And it was just, it was horrific for the page, for the mom as well. So I'm standing here like, oh my God, what is going on? And it didn't have to be that way. Like, don't panic, because then you cause panic
Yeah.
with the patient, because there are other, I knew there had to have been another way. Like, there had to be another way than you doing this. And the way that it was done, I don't even know if she could ever have kids again. Just, it was just that horrific.
That
I was,
is so
oh
bad.
Horrible.
goodness, scared to death. And I just I've never seen anything like that. So I know what they do in the hospital. It's in some hospitals. Some of them are good and they're but for the most part, no, I would have preferred having a doula or being at it. I would have enjoyed trying out a birthing center. I really would have, because I think that with my first daughter, with Kayla, it would have gone a whole lot better. I had a difficult time with her. And then with Ariel, my youngest, I think it would have been better for me if I had that. It was, yeah.
I
So
always say that I believe that anyone who has the opportunity to have a doula would take that opportunity, because it's just nothing like having somebody to hold your hand and say that, you can do it. You got this.
yeah.
Exactly. And even if you didn't have it your first, second, fourth, fifth time, like some of my clients, they're on their sixth kid, and this is the first time that they're having a doula. I don't care. And it's crazy how even in a conversation after 5 kids, I'm telling them something that they had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
Wow.
each pregnancy is different. You know what I mean? It brings its own host of things.
Right.
Sometimes people don't experience, things the same exact way. There's a lot of, factors that go into, each birth. And so,
So your final thoughts, whatever you want to tell or say to our viewers, what would you say?
Wow, I didn't think that you were going to ask me that. I guess what's on the top of my mind is to know your body, love your body, embrace yourself, all of your flaws, all of the great things about you, and just, if you are in need of a doula, please look us up, or anywhere you are, wherever your area is, go ahead and look into having a doula if you're a birthing person. And for the rest of us, let's just all just try to keep doing the best we can every day.
Yeah. Well, let people know how they can get in contact with you, because I'm sure she'll travel wherever you are and you need a doula. Don't think just because you're not in Delaware
In the right
that
direction.
you can't come. She can come to you. So how can they get in contact with you?
You can reach me at vivianfillman@gmail.com. And my webpage and everything, when we get our birthing center up and running, we'll have that information for you too. But for now,
All right.
yeah.
Well, email, and if you didn't get that email down, just message Mo. She'll get you in contact.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You can always contact me. I will most definitely put you in contact with her. Listen, y'all already know if I end up with this surrogate gig, there's no doula.
There it is. Yeah.
Woman, how many more things are you going to add to your
Girl,
plate?
look, it sounds so bad, but it really is like that. It's a nice little. I'm trying to get a compound, okay? So that will financially allow me to be able to do that.
Oh my goodness. Well, we have thoroughly enjoyed having you on. Oh,
Yes.
I will say I absolutely love your spirit. I really,
Oh,
really
thank
do.
you.
I do. You have that calming, encouraging, relaxing nature about you that would make anybody's birth better than what the doctors would say is going to be, or your birth is going to be like this, and you would come in and say, no, it's not going to be that way, and it turned out to be totally opposite. So
Thank
thank
you
you
for
so,
saying that.
yeah, for your time and your information that you've given us tonight. It has been great. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Listen, y'all, we are about to get off here because the time goes by so quickly. But before we go, please, ma'am, and please, sir, scan this QR code and subscribe to the House of Peach. I know all of you watching have not done it. Ooh, so disobedient. I'm going to need you to be obedient tonight and scan this QR code so you will know when we're on live, which is every Tuesday evening at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're in a different time zone, figure it out. You know where you are, and you know how you are based on Eastern Standard Time. So you can find us. If you're watching the replay, we know you enjoyed this show because we enjoyed filming it. So
Yes.
until next week. It's next week. What is that? Third week? Okay, no, it's not. He said,
Yes.
she said. We're getting
No, I was like, next week is a couple of days before my birthday too, y'all.
yes.
Aw.
We're gonna have to celebrate. We're gonna
Yes.
have to celebrate.
I'm excited.
Awesome. Mo, you have any final words?
No, thank you very much, Valerie. She said this is awesome.
Thank you.
Shout out to you. Thank you, Dr. Viv, my, as I like to say, my badass doula sister.
Yes.
Yes, thank you for joining. Especially just being ready and on call. You know, like she said, your spirit is amazing. It's like a warm hug. And it really is. It's a very safe space to be, and like I said, it's always an honor and a privilege to share a space with you, and you know, to call you my sister.
Yes, thank you for thinking of me.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, like I said, the timing was perfect.
It was.
And everything. I was like, sometimes things, you know, end up divinely happening. So, you know. And April, you know, I love you, girl.
I love you. Listen, all of you that have a sincere, serious prayer life, I want you to call these two ladies out in prayer for what they are doing, which is a great thing with getting this birthing center together. You know, there's power in numbers, and I believe with all of us praying for them and supporting, don't just pray. Now, if you got few funds to send their way, they're not going to turn that down because it takes money to start businesses. There's not you can just, there has to be an investment. So this is something that you would want to invest in. But if you're not able to do that financially, your prayers work. Just make sure they reach. Now, I don't want you praying out here and they don't go anywhere. We need to get them where they need to go. Y'all know I have to cut up.
Exactly.
We do want you to pray and pray God's blessings on that. I will be doing that. I will be happy to do that for the two of you, two amazing women, for what you are doing. That's going to touch the lives of so many people. So many people. I see that already happened. All right, y'all, before I turn and this shifts into something else, we're gonna get off here because Mo already knows I'll end up.
Look, I'm over here laughing because I'm like, what the two of us already have in the works is very much a part of this birth center. So you too, even where you are, get to touch this birth center. So you know, we just appreciate you and the contribution that, you know, you're bringing to our table as well. So I
I'm
can see
coming
it.
at the ribbon cutting. Just know that. I'm gonna jump on a plane. I have to come in and for the ribbon cutting and turn right back around and get on the plane. I'm coming
Look,
for
keep it up. When we look at our board, we might just put you on the board, okay?
hey, whatever. We'll do that. We're gonna make it right. Absolutely. I've been in the healthcare and medical field for a long time, so I can
So
help
we
out
need
wherever
you.
y'all want me to. So
Mhm.
it's
Absolutely.
all
Like we said, the
good.
Rolodex. We keep them coming. Make sure that everybody's in there so that this 3 to 6 months, we're going to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thank you so
Have
much
a
for
good
joining
night.
us. We will see you next week. Have a good
Okay.
night. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so extra. Express myself, I'm next up. Yeah, what more do you say? Coming up. Yeah. Come up now.